in reference to the first case whereby the magistrate said that she's working for the Xhosa Mafias and that she's working for the Freemasons, in our investigations, we come across of what she referred to, whereby an organogram of the Freemasons is here, saying that this country is run by the Freemasons, which they are 300 members of them. So what they do, these people, they are a committee of 300 controlling the executive arm of the Royal Institute for International Affairs, Trilateral Commission, Bilderbergers, Council on Foreign Relations, and they are hooked together with the United States government, education, environment, abortion, gun control, parliamentary system, FEMA, in Parliament here in Cape Town, and then they are controlling media control, ABC, CBCS, NBC, CNN, UPI, New York Times, Washington Post. This means that if you record or you call journalists to investigate anything which has to do with organized judicial crime, corruption, syndicate in the courts, or hijacking of houses whereby the Freemasons are benefiting, that journalist, that newspaper will not publish the story because the editor inside there, once he found across of that information, will not actually publish the story. So that's all it's all about. Now, the other duty they are doing, conducting, is the Royal Institute for International Affairs. They are hooked together with M16 and CIA. CIA and M16 are the infiltrators within the economic affairs of the government, defrauding the states and government financial assets of this country, whereby the immovable assets attached to their syndicate, which is the Freemasons. So they run the Secret Societies Foundation, which includes the Christian publishers promoting One World Government, and they are together with the Church Research Group, Rockefeller's Revised Church. They are running the Council of the Churches called Church's World Council of Churches Liberation Theology. They are running also the promotion of evaluation in education, promotes tolerance, promotes socialist ideals. They hold seminars, left-wing religious groups, schools for indoctrination, one world government ideas. They are also infiltrating the political influence which they use the policy on a policy made by USA towards foreign countries and promotes socialists. So the other duty they are doing, they are running the Tavistock Institute for Human Relations, which this includes the Club of Rome. The Club of Rome is because they are controlling the law, whereby the law is part of the Roman Dutch law. So now they've got NATO, which NATO, NATO, and the US military. So they also, as a syndicate of the Freemasons, runs the drug trade, the British East India Company for economic recolonization of Africa, and then they've got the Hong Kong London Council, they've got Medellins Cartel, Cecil Cartel, which control the minerals, the land where these houses are built, which they are being hijacked by the banks, and then they control the institutions such as Stanford Research Institute, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Institute for Policy Studies to control the rand currency, and Wharton Institute's Watson Schools of Economics. Then the last operation matrix which they use to incriminate people in the courts process, whereby the magistrates and judges are involved into magistrates courts and the high courts, they use the infiltration techniques into South African churches which are hooked together with the courts. Because in court, when they say you must swear that you're going to speak the truth, you say that in the name of God, I swear that I'll speak the truth before the judge. Now through that only, they get infiltration because the church constitute also the court. So now therefore they have got the Societies of Jesus, which is controlled by Vatican aims. So they use the Rockefeller's Revised Church, the Royal Institutes of International Affairs, the M16 Gassat Mossad, and the ACIO, MI, and CIA. And they've got Institute of Contextual Theology. They've got the ANC Religious Wing, South African Council of Churches for infiltration techniques. So if this failed, that is step number 1 of the rules of the game, Operation Matrix rule number 1. So they come to rule number 2. They use the learned elders. Learned elders mean the judges and magistrates in the courts. They have got the Masonic groups. They means the state prosecutors employed by the National Prosecuting Authority, which is the Director of Public Prosecutions. They've got MI and NI, spoilers, to spoil your case. Now, under infiltration technique number 2, which is the rule of the game number 2 under Operation Matrix, they take legalistic points litigations in courts to discredit loose members of the state, which are members of the government, not to stick together. They use fragments and splits, because when a person's house is taken away, it splits families. Because if you are married, now you are evicted. Your wife has to go and apply or to get somewhere to sleep, you sleep somewhere else. Then you don't get the house. Then what happens there? The child will not go to school. Your wife is not concentrating. You're also there alone. Then you are no longer united as a family. So that's why it's discredit, loose members, fragment, and splits. So what they do, especially if it's a house now, because this is where the Operation Matrix is, they use liquidation, selling execution, sold to Jesuits, learned elders of the Freemasons, and South African Council of Churches. So those houses, once they are taken away through the courts, because the courts are the ones who grant selling execution. Execution means whether you are charged for trespassing or you are evicted, so that the Freemasons will continue holding title on the house, which doesn't even belong to him or her. Now, you, when you fight for that, they will set labels you. They say you are dangerous to the state. Then they send you to Operation Matrix number 3, that you are violent. Then they insert labels as militant, fundamentals, dangerous to state and the public. Now thereafter, when the matter is in court, charged for trespassing, they sentence you. Then you go to rule number 4 of Operation Matrix, which is rehabilitation centers. That means in prison. Then they mean welcome to the new world orders of Global Village.